So, when we last ended, you had separated two groups. Both groups were apprehended and taken into custody. And you weren't given a reason why. It was just, I think the general reason that was prior to was questioning. You came into the city recently, and there was things going on that they are trying to get to the bottom of. Bagoosh, Loris, and Sturdy Bark, three of you were apprehended over by the Sylvaneth Enclave, and you went peacefully, if I recall correctly, with Redleaf kind of giving you some level of assurance, Sturdy Bark.
Yes.
And then Shadel and Joe, you both made your attempt to get into the conclave chambers, and were essentially checked at the door, and were taken into custody by order of Lord Veritant Kaiser von Brecht, which I don't think he gave you his name. I think it was just stated that he was the Lord Veritant, but yeah, he basically was gave the order to take you into custody and bring you to his personal questioning rooms, or his questioning chambers. His investigation chambers. So I think we're gonna start with me saying it's a uneventful trip there. With regards to the three of you that were taken from the Sylvaneth Enclave, you were basically put in a cart, a covered wagon, and you were a rather large one at that. And you were just taken there, the three of you alone in that cart. And then Shadel and Joe, you were put in a significantly smaller cart by comparison, though you wouldn't know, obviously. Goldie, you're muted. I don't know if that
is... it's essential, because I turn off push to talk whenever I'm using browser stuff.
Oh shoot, didn't know. Yeah, so that's where you all left off, basically being in those carts. If you want, party-wise, we can skip to being unloaded at the Stormkeep, or if you wanted to do anything with regards to being in the cart, chat amongst thyselves, and all that stuff, we can do that as well. But you're not currently in the cart with anyone other than yourselves. Like, there's no other ne'er-do-wells, criminals, vagrants, anyone like that that's being carted along with you. It's just the three of you in one and the two of you in the other. So
okay. Do we think the person driving can hear us?
I think it's safe to assume that, yes.
Okay.
I got the slit.
I'm going to ask the driver. Was the driver the one who said you're coming with me? Was that the same person, or was it totally
when
different?
you were escorted to the cart, no. They kind of dropped you, or they kind of brought you over to the cart, handed you off to some Stormcast that were in this black and gold trim armor, and then they just closed up, and then the cart started going.
Okay, so I'm gonna yell, "Hey, driver, where are we going?"
You don't get an immediate response.
Hello? I'm gonna be like very obnoxious until like I get a response.
Sir, please stop that, sir.
As you go about saying and being generally annoying to them, you hear and somewhat feel, if you're leaning up against the far side of the cart, a thud against the wooden planks that make up the wall of this cart, and you can hear a you can hear a very stern voice say, "We're taking you to the Stormkeep. It's where you'll be interrogated. I now hope forcefully interrogated for your actions before coming into the city."
But we didn't do anything.
That is not up for me to decide and for me to determine.
Sims.
I'm gonna turn to Bagoosh and Surbark and say, have you guys ever been interrogated before? What's gonna happen?
I just look at you and say, I hope you like pokers.
I'll
Yes.
turn to Sturdy Bark. Yes? What do you mean yes? What's gonna happen, Sturdy Bark? Sturdy Bark, please, what's gonna happen?
I can already smell the sizzling.
So what? Sizzling of what? What?
I start drooling.
Bagoosh, come back to me. What's sizzling? That's it, Frank.
I'm gonna start like rattling, see if I can destabilize the cart.
Like shit's rocking the boat.
The cart does start to wobble a bit, and that's when you hear the banging again from the front. The same guy. Knock it off back there, otherwise I'll come back there and force you to stop myself.
Are they in handcuffs or
Is he
something?
gonna come back here?
Sorry, Mark, we don't.
You're like in like manacles. They're loose fitting though.
That's fine. Straight Bark, I like where your head's at, but I think he sounds angry.
If he comes back here, we can kill him.
Looks to manacles. I don't know how we're doing this, man.
Headbutt him.
How does someone manacle Sturdy Bark just out of curiosity?
They just kind of put it under your branches, I guess.
You know,
Magic.
it's not exactly a solved
Yeah, I was
solution here.
gonna say.
For you, it's not really solved. They just kind of looked at you and they're like, it'll work. It's
I'm
gotta
just
work.
gonna ask for curiosity. This coach can fit Sturdy Bark?
That's what I was
very
wondering.
big.
We're doing a lot of
See,
theater of the
so
mind
this
here.
is an armored coach.
It's a very
This is
big. This is an armored coach.
This is
This is the armored coach right here. Don't fucking
Those
destroy
bad
This is the armored coach. This is it.
Councilwoman has a lot to answer for.
So when we get interrogated at Bagoosh, what are we supposed to say? We didn't do anything wrong.
I'm just sitting here drooling. I'm lost.
Bagoosh,
Just
you
recite
need to
your
be
lineage.
here. What was that?
Recite your lineage. That's what I do.
Just talk about your lineage. Is that gonna work?
It'll help you take your mind off of other things.
Fair enough. What about him? And I'll point to Bagoosh. He doesn't sound like he's gonna say anything.
I think his mind is already off on other things.
I think it is.
I will continue to seesaw lighter, like more lightly.
After a couple minutes, you hear a banging again. He's like, "Do I have to come back there?"
Sir, no, sir. We're good, sir. Sir, we're good.
That's it.
You hear very subtly the other Stormcast in the front, in the front of the carriage, say, "Did you take a look at them when they got put in?" And then you hear the other guy say, "No, are they just like normal? Like, I don't know. Are we dealing with like dwarves?"
What did he say with what?
Dwarves.
He said, "Are we
He
dealing?"
doesn't-
He's saying, "Are we dealing with dwarves?" Like, what?
He doesn't know what the cargo is. He has no idea what they're pushing right now.
Can I hear this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna rock even more furiously. I want this guy to come back here.
He starts banging again, and he says, "Just keep it together back there. It's only another 5 minutes. Should be at the keep in no time." And true to his word, after about another 5 minutes, the cart comes to a stop, and the the doors swing open, and you are greeted with this horrific-looking building. This complete eyesore in front of you of just like almost like a gilded box that's just kind of in front of you with tapestries that have hammers on them, and it's just this awful looking eyesore of a building. Spires and such. And you then see this guard, or this stormcast standing in front of you. And when he, upon seeing the car go inside, he says, "Oh, it's not worse."
I'll wave.
He says, "All right, well, out you come. Let's go. Into the Stormkeep with a lot of you, you criminals."
We're innocent. We didn't do anything.
Not up for me to decide.
But you just decided.
I decided you're criminals,
We're
not
not
that you're
criminals.
innocent.
Look at him. Does he look like a criminal? I'll point to Bakush.
I'll wave my hand in front of Bagush's face, or my branch in front of Bagush's.
What was this?
I'm not sure if a tree can truly commit any crimes, but that thing, as he points to Bagush, that thing certainly can.
Simple as.
All right.
He walks up to Bagush and he sticks his hand up to him. He's like, tell me, how many children have you eaten in this city? How many young ones have you taken away from their mothers and they'll never be seen again?
In this city, let me think.
0!
You can say 0.
No, I should be accurate. I start just like scratching my chin, trying to think.
The realization that he hasn't had any would be horrifying to him.
I'm gonna look at the guy and say, do goats count?
I'd be share goats.
He says, "Oh, we have a comedian, eh?"
I will bow.
No, sir, that's actually Sylvaneth.
"Oh, we have another comedian, eh?"
I'm gonna turn to the two of them and be like, so what do you think happened to our other friends?
We're about to find out.
They can't be having more fun than we are.
We're about to have a lot more fun than you are.
We got the VIP pass.
Very
That's a
true.
word.
So, Sturdy Bark, Bagush, and Loris, you
Tyrell.
continue on this banter with this guard as he's waiting on other
Oh, this
guards
is gonna keep going.
to
Tell me
come
he's in
and-
tears by the end of it.
as he's waiting on other Stormcast to come assist him in getting you inside the Stormkeep. Joe
Don't worry,
and
I'll wait.
Shadell, the last thing both of you see before being tossed in this wagon was just this titan of a man with his staff and this Griffhound by his side, saying that you will be taken away and that he would see you in his Inquisition chambers. You're sitting in this cart alongside just a normal Stormcast. This is not a Heldenhammer. They're just sitting back there with you. And then
Do I
the doors
recognize them?
close. No, you don't recognize them. Or you wouldn't recognize them with their helmet on. Let's put it that way.
Sure. I'll just give a friendly nod.
They kind of like subtle, like slight nod. And then the doors close, and then you hear a banging from the front of the cart, and you hear a Stormcast say, "All clear back there." And then the one next to you says, "Yep, all good." And the cart starts to move.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this Stormcast in the cabin. Are you a prisoner as well, or are you the warden essentially? Like, are you keeping an eye on us?
He raises his hand. That one. standard protocol. You're not supposed to transport criminals without having an armed guard.
Shit, man. The fucking the big one didn't have an armed guard.
I think the term is suspects, not criminals.
He looks down at
I
looks down
start
at his,
laughing.
Just through
He
the
looks
ether,
down
you
a
just
bit, he
hear
says-
sus.
he lets out a sigh and says, "That's not up for me to decide.
No, I understand, but it sounds like you're deciding by calling us criminals.
It's not up for me to decide. It's all
Why-
look.
Why do you always say that? I always hear that all the time.
Because they already decided
Not up
before
for
you
me to
even talked to them.
decide." He looks at you. He's like, "Look, I'm not the one. I'm not called the Lord Decider. All right, I'm a knight. I'm just supposed to do my job and make sure I get you all to the Stormkeep."
Okay. Can Joe or me tell how many people are in this vehicle?
Well, it's you, Joe, this Stormcast across from you, and then at least one person up front.
Alright. And is it like... Is the cabin enclosed? Like, so
It's
that...
like bars.
Oh, it's bars.
see
Okay, so they
outside.
can see and hear through...
Yeah.
the people in the front can. Okay. Alright, so... And we're still in the midst of a bunch of different Stormcast Eternals, I guess?
You got
Well,
like only one in. Yeah, I mean, you're being, as far as you're concerned, as far as you know, you're being carted away from what looked like at the time a very high density amount of Stormcast.
A large contingent? Alright.
Yes.
Can we see outside?
Yeah, you see, you're getting wheeled away from the building you were at.
Okay. Are we gonna come across a point where there's not a bunch of Stormcast outside?
You wouldn't know. I mean, you could look outside and like through the bars and be able to make that assumption yourself. As you are traveling, you don't. Yeah, I mean, it starts to get sparser.
Okay, Joe. Oh, wait, okay. Have they, like... Am I still in my, my
Yes.
Caradron suit and everything?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Joe, do you think you can, get these manacles off of me? Stealthily?
Why? I'll whisper
I
back.
think I'm gonna gas this fucking car and want to get the hell out of here.
The Stormcast is standing there, sitting there looking at
I'm
you.
whispering it.
Okay.
I'm not just saying it.
Okay, and to what end? So we gas them, we run away, and then we're wanted criminals for attacking a storm god?
They won't die.
Right, but go on. There's still wanted criminals for attacking a storm god.
And by that, I mean, I won't be the one to kill them, not that they'll just go back to the forge. I mean, currently, if we keep going, they're probably gonna kill us.
It's possible, but
It's probable. It's not possible.
So what do you know of them? Like what to what end?
I know it's better not to just blindly trust.
Look, how about I
Gads.
loosen or unlock our manacles and we wear them until the moment we know it's a bad idea.
Is that something we can do?
Frank, I'm gonna try to fish out my lockpicks stealthily and start picking our locks.
I will give this to you because I absolutely believe you've done this before.
I've probably done it as a joke and just like handed them back the manacles as we walk into the office and just like
exactly.
sit down.
Like I absolutely believe you've been in a situation like this before.
So I'll go as patiently and slowly as need be. If I run out of time, that's fine.
Are you sure? I could just fill this with gas and use grenades to blow open the door, you know?
Yeah, Joe does not want to be a wanted criminal. Her job is to not be a criminal.
I don't think you understand. We are already criminals.
She doesn't
according to what they're going
to
say.
She's already trying to loosen your lock or at least unpick it.
Yeah.
Or unlock it, I should say.
I guess we'll go with that and wait to see what happens.
Okay, so after a couple minutes of you just like fiddling around, you feel that the cart starts to rattle a bunch, almost like you've chained the cart has moved from being on a smooth street to being on something a little more cobbled.
I'll start up a conversation to say, so, to the guard, so where are we headed? Sounds like we're not on the streets anymore.
Looks at you. He's like, "You're headed to the Storm Keep. You know, it's where we all hold, I guess, our silent vigil, as the Heldenhammer would like to say.
Talking about that godforsaken black tower.
He like scratches his helmet. It's like it's black, but it's got like a bit of gold trim on it. No.
Yeah, it's only slightly ominous.
Yeah, I mean, we're not supposed to look like it's not supposed to be like a place you want to go.
It's fair enough. And I've just kind of got my right hand up, and I'm just kind of like stretching it up above me, looking, and then just with my left hand not looking at, just picking the lock. So if he's looking at me, he's seeing my sort of outstretched hand.
This guy.
That is talent.
This guy does not look like he's paying much attention.
Just doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
This guy was called into work on a Sunday, and he is like, "I'm over it."
Called to work on a Sunday by like the upper management who have now brought in the SWAT team.
So in this cobblestone situation, when we look out the front, can we see? Are they like in an alleyway?
Oh no! You can see this black tower in front of you.
Fuck. Okay, we've already gone too far. This escape can't happen here.
You could see it in the distance as you're getting closer and closer to. Joe, after like another minute or so, you're able to get your manacles properly unfastened to the point of being able to set yourself free. But you're still maintaining the facade that you're there. That
Sure.
you're there
Both me and Shadel?
Yeah. Let's say
Awesome.
it doesn't take you that long.
Yeah,
like these are.
I'll give him sort of like a pat on the leg, which is like like a strange motion to note, like, okay, it's done, and then I'll just carefully sort of position them so that they're not going to get undone by accident.
Okay. Oh, while we're doing this, I'm gonna just use my lenses to see the face of the Stormcast in our fucking cabin.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right for
Let
that one,
me-
eh?
Let me get you a face.
Google's face generator.
Nope. I got one. Don't worry.
Visage generator.
I was mostly doing it to check to see if there was someone we had met before.
Oh, it is not someone you've met before.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to take a mental image for something in the future, like some like later date, like a vendetta kind of thing. Fuck you. That's what I thought, but I don't know if that
I
was.
mean, that could also be the case. I am a
Yeah.
dwarf.
All right. Let me hope this picture doesn't come grainy. It is, of course. Why wouldn't it?
This better be stock
Look.
photo.
Yep. All right. Well,
Just describe it, Frank.
you see this dark skinned, Shade. You see this dark skinned, like strongly built faced man. He's got like a bit of like stubble, like facial hair going there. The most telling thing about him is his like piercing golden eyes. And he's almost got like his hair braided, in such a way, and it seems like it's extremely long hair for what you believe a Stormcast, someone in like this military order would have. But it's like this almost braided, like essentially like a dreadlocks almost
Okay.
type of hairstyle that he has.
Is someone with golden eyes really unusual? And
Usually, yes, actually.
would we know anything? Like, does that mean anything, or is it just like it's a feature?
I don't think either of you would know. I
Okay.
think if anyone in your party would know, it would be Sturdy Bark, considering their background. But I don't think there's any way Joe would know, unless you've managed to somehow get a Stormcast drunk. And unless you've interacted with Stormcasts extensively, I don't think you would know.
No, I haven't. And he's not wearing the Heldenhammer armor, right? You said he's not wearing the black
No,
and
he's
gold?
standard. He's wearing like standard blue gold Sigmarite armor.
Okay.
You can tell just by his demeanor, this guy's a lot friendlier than your standard Heldenhammer individual would be.
Alright, well I'll just take note of that.
And
I don't think I wanna reveal that I know anything about him.
After another like minute and a half of just kind of awkward silence, the cart comes to a stop, and as soon as it does, he stands up and he says, "Right, everyone up, let's go."
Head on out.
And then he opens the
go.
doors, and you're greeted with another Stormcast that's standing in front of the doors as they open, basically waiting for you to step down to escort you in.
Carefully step on down, trying to make sure my manacles don't rock.
Likewise.
And you hear her say, "All right, come along. Your friends are here, I think. Can only imagine that they're your friends anyway."
If they're big, probably so.
"Well, they're certainly big. And the tree's getting our captain to, well... He's getting our captain to get really, really annoyed."
Well, to be fair, you did arrest us for no reason.
"That's not my decision."
I understand that. You don't need to repeat it.
And then she kind of motions. She's like, "All right, well, let's go." And she stops and she turns around and says, "Also, don't try and run. It's not worth it." She points behind her, and you can see this like giant gate start closing. Like, you really don't have anywhere to run to.
Oh no, we're on the same side. We're here to cooperate.
Look, I believe you,
But it's not for you to decide. I know. Let's
but
go.
it's not for me to decide. All right, come with me then. And you're brought into the Stormkeep through these large doors. Everything that you see is like emblazoned with lightning bolts and standards that have like.
Frank, are you messing with like dice or something? Like there's like a clicking that comes in every now and then.
Oh, no, I'm opening something.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're good.
So, as you're walking through, you basically see that everything's kind of adorned with lightning bolts, hammers, banners with hammers or lightning bolts on them, various like masks and helmets that are just kind of like pushed into the walls or modeled into the walls, and this is a somewhat imposing building. And as you walk through the front door, you just see this very large, almost like dais, like this very raised desk in the center of this room. And as you walk in... Oh.
No,
Okay.
Alex,
Yeah,
it's not.
Tommy asked the question right as I was.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
answer,
catching an
yeah.
echo of Frank.
Yeah,
through
I'll
your
switch to
mic.
push to talk then.
Okay. So yeah, you catch this giant like dais as you're walking in. And there's just this, what I would best describe as an ominous individual, like Heldenhammer Stormcast is just sitting at the dais as they watch you walk in. The two of you notice that there's... it's very easy to see. At the base of the dais, you can see these two Gryph-hounds that are just kind of sitting there. And as you walk by, the Stormcast that's leading you kind of like gives a nod and kind of a salute. The Gryph-hounds like stand up. One of the Gryph-hounds stands up and its tail starts to wag, and then you hear a very like loud like thud as the person who's sitting atop the dais kind of shouts down. He's like, "Heal," and then the dog or the Gryph-hound sits back down again, and it starts, doing its job proper. So yeah, you walk by this dais, and you're taken into a backed corridor, and another corridor, and through various doors. As you're walking through these halls, it seems like you're walking through what initially is like a barracks, and then almost like a meal hall. You kind of seeing the various parts as you're going through here. It looks like administrative offices, essentially. What looked like a map room, and then finally, you both can hear a very loud, very angry, what sounds like a very loud, very angry individual just saying, "Look, I already told you it's not up for me to decide if you're a criminal or not." And then, as soon as you hear that, the Stormcast that's leading you says, "And there's the captain." She looks down at the two of you and says, "Can you please get your friends to stop aggravating him so that he won't aggravate us later on? Please and thank you."
I
Could reply with, "Could you please guarantee us a trial?"
She looks at you and she sighs and she says, "Can you guess what I'm about to say?"
It's not up for you to decide.
And she like looks down and says, "It's not up for me to decide," as she just kind of has an exacerbated sigh when she says that.
I'm picturing Bagoosh and I are doing like our buddy comedy routine.
So, as I'll wait for a punchline to land, and then Bagoosh, Steadybuck, come on. The faster we talk to them, the faster we can get out of here.
That's good. I could talk real fast.
That's what I'd like to hear. Come on.
The guard captain says that's not what he means, or that's not what she means.
It's just go with it. It's fine. You want things to get moving. Don't contradict them.
Do not speak quickly.
I know, Steadybuck. Just you can listen.
The captain turns around. The night captain turns around and looks at you, and he looks down at the two. He's like, "Which one of you is the ringleader here?"
I'm gonna look at it directly at him and say, "That is not up to you to decide."
He
Shows
slams
no
his
smile.
head into the wall.
Oh god.
He slams his head into the wall. When he does so, Joe and wait, Shadel, you have good hearing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're standing right next to her. You hear the Stormcast next to you just kind of like let out a small chuckle, and then she kind of like whispers under her breath, like, "That was pretty good, actually."
Look, I'm sorry for my friend's behavior. Clearly,
Yeah.
they're just waiting for us to arrive. We don't truly have a leader to our Soulbind, but just we act as a group. So
Yeah.
good thing you got all of us.
Are we going to die, lady?
That's not
She
for her to decide.
starts to say, "No, you're not going to die," and as she says "die," she gets cut off by the Knight Captain, and then he points his hand at her and says, "That's not up for us to decide." And then she just lets out a sigh, and she's like, "I remember when we were allowed to decide." And then
I'm gonna throw her a thumbs up. Or a branch up. I don't know if she can even understand what it
I'm
means.
surprised you hadn't already given the driver a bunch of your bark.
He did not
He doesn't deserve it.
and then the Knight Captain looks at her and says, "Desperate times call for desperate measures. In that we will postpone all trials until the Lord Veritant can verify." And then she looks at this guy and says, Yeah, but it's a city.
On the
And
scale
if
of 1 to
person's
10,
going to judge everyone, how are we going to get through everything?
on a scale of 1 to 10, how sane is the Lord Veritan?
Are you asking that? Uh, the knight captain looks at you and says, "He's the brightest man I've ever met."
I'm gonna
good.
give him like a there. I'm gonna pat him on the back, like, oh, it's okay.
It's like, oh god, we're screwed.
The woman who's with you looks at you and says, he is fair and just, though his methods are a bit arcane.
We didn't do anything. Why are we even here?
That's why we should just go and talk
That's
to them.
not up
and
for
get
them
over
to
with.
decide.
That's not up for them to decide.
I need to hear her say it. Because I think this is actually up to her. Why are we even here? We didn't do anything.
She looks at the knight captain and then kind of like throws her hands and was like, "Fine. I'll get in trouble for it, whatever. You were here because you were outside the city and you came in.
That's not illegal.
It is when we lock the city down."
But when we left the city, it wasn't that way.
Right.
Why is the city on
Which means
lockdown?
you shouldn't be in the city.
Why is the city on lockdown?
She
Because-
she like kind of looks at you. She's like, "Okay, I guess it would make sense you not knowing, considering how you were outside the city. There was an explosion at the harbor,
Was that what that noise was?
and we lost a number of Stormcast down there, as well as a number of civilians."
Are you trying to pin this whole thing on us and we're going to die down here?
She like looks at you. She's like, "I don't think you will die here."
Do you?
Can I do an insight check
Yes.
of whatever an insight check equivalent is?
No. Do you have like any chance of success on an inside check?
I don't. Probably not.
Intuition.
It's not. It's not about the
mind.
success chance. You know.
It's
not-
a mind, yeah.
Yeah, it's a mind.
What? So mind what? Just mind.
Oh, this is gonna be a. This is gonna be like a 3-1.
Oh, you have a chance. No.
Okay.
You,
I believe her. I believe her.
yeah, you believe that you're gonna survive here.
Guys, we're gonna survive here. It's okay. Don't be
The
worried.
rest of us had done the check as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could all do it.
Talking
Okay.
to
yeah.
her then, do you know if the Blackfin was involved at all? It's a ship with, and then I'll describe the unique sails and shape and stuff.
Okay, do I believe this?
Yes, you believe that she's telling you this.
You believe that she believes it.
You believe that she's tired of her job right now, and she's just like, "This is not how I want to be spending my day right now."
Okay.
Um,
Then I'm gonna intervene and say, okay, guys, I don't think she's lying. Let's just cooperate.
when you
for
bring
now.
up the Blackfin, she looks at you and she says, "A pirate vessel?"
Pirates, I fucking knew it.
I
Joe,
What do
response.
you know
Joe.
about the pirate? What do you know about them?
quite a bit. We should definitely get talking.
I'm sure the Lord Veritant will want to hear everything you have to say about them.
All right.
I'm gonna start taking a nap. Gonna
No,
close
you
my
gotta,
eyes
you gotta
and
go to
against
the,
wall.
the
When you
chambers.
when you go to close your eyes and like stop moving and you kind of enter this zen-like state, you feel like a prodding, and the knight captain looks at you and is like, "Right, into the Inquisition offices. Let's go."
I'm just gonna pat him on the shoulder.
We're going.
Did he point the way?
Yeah, he's like standing by a door with it open, just motioning in.
Okay, I'm just gonna go in and wave everybody in.
All right, I'm gonna walk into the threshold and close my eyes again.
You're gonna stand right in front of the door. And
Well, I'll
walk
like move
away.
a little to the side, assuming I can.
So all of you can shuffle in. And then, Sturdy Bark, you're standing like off to the side, but like right next to the door.
Yep.
The knight captain just kind of looks at you and is like, lets out a sigh. It's like, I just don't. I've never had to deal with a tree like this before.
I'm going to give him a piece of bark.
He looks at it.
Oh,
He's
you
like,
better
what
just
does
take
this
that.
mean?"
Just take it.
Big
And I'll, like,
smile.
I'll like reach into a pouch.
He-
Just take it, and I'll like reach into a pouch and show off like a bunch of pieces of bark.
He takes the bark, and then he says, "The Lord Veritant will be with you shortly." And then he just closes the door. And then you hear it lock. And then you hear it lock again, and then a third time.
I feel safe.
And it's just the 5 of you in a room now.
6 of us.
It is... Yes! The 6
Oh,
of you!
wait, is he still with us?
Yes!
He's just
He's
on Sturdy
invincible.
Bark?
He's invisible on 30 bark. I was gonna say something if you were saying like, oh,
Wait, did
your
none of them
girl said-
see him?
He's
He's
visible.
invisible.
Yeah, but I thought they could...
He's sneaky.
I don't think this is the best and brightest that we're contending.
Maybe the adjutant could. Or not the adjutant.
It's
the,
also
the
possible
Veritant.
someone would literally look at him with like invis sight on and just not notice him, like hiding in the tree branches.
True, he is in
True.
tree branches, yeah.
I don't think he's just invisible. He's like hiding and invisible.
He's small and I'm a large tree.
Okay, so should we set up a trap before this guy comes in, or...
No, why are we trying to escape? We should just talk to them, explain what happened with the Blackfin. Probably that
Okay.
they were setting us up for the whole sort of
Okay,
whatever.
alright, so we don't set a trap, but you should probably loosen their manacles while you're here.
Sure.
Alright. So here's me trap. They come in and then I crush them.
Well, you
We're
can't
not-
do it with
So-
your arms tied behind
okay.
your back.
We're
Is
not
that a challenge?
I'm just gonna remove my medical.
No, don't.
They're
break-
not really
oh.
on you anyway.
Yeah, they're not even on me. Like,
Alright, that's fine. Hold
Just
on.
kinda draped on you.
Loris, come here. And I will pull out my lock. I'll like take off my manacles for a second, and then unlock his and Bagoosh's, and then
Maybe we should just take them off
put
and then
mine
just
back
start like sitting around like we're waiting for an appointment.
Yeah, why don't we take them off and act like we haven't had them on for a while. We're not supposed to have them. If we don't try to attack him, he's not going to be like, where the fuck?
I've done that myself because I think it's hilarious, but I don't think this is quite the room for it. I'm worried they would just double down, but it's up to you. I'm going to leave mine sort of partially on, but if we all vote that we're taking them off, then fine.
Got
I'll
it.
do that.
I got it.
Okay.
We take off our manacles, and if he's like, where the fuck are your manacles? We say, your troops never put manacles on us, and we get someone randomly in trouble.
I'm gonna look at him. I'm gonna look at you with like a new light in my eyes.
wait. We tell him the captain took them off.
No, well, the captain might, he might know we're lying. It has to be some grunt didn't put manacles on us.
But it would be
We were never
hilarious.
manacled.
No,
Loris, try lie to me. Tell me straight to my face that it was a mistake and no one put manacles on us.
It was a mistake, and no one put manacles on us.
Do I believe him? Was it a good lie?
Do I have to make a guile check? I don't even know what
Guile
the hell
versus
this is.
Are
intuition,
you
right?
actively trying to lie to him right
I'm
Or
actively
lie
trying
to-
to humor Joe.
You're
I don't
trying
know
to
what that would be.
humor him? Or
Yes.
humor her?
Yes.
Okay, if you're trying to humor her, Yeah, you know what? You can give me a Guile 5-1. And Joe, you can give me an Intuition 3-1.
All right. Did that sound good?
3
A
successes.
Nice one.
Did it sound good?
No, it didn't. And I'd rather not be lying about something so minor when we... Look, if we kick it off with a lie, they're not going
Minor.
to believe anything we say after that.
Would
I'm
you
gonna
rather
look at
ambush?
Joe and
Is there a
say,
potted plant in the room?
You want to ambush him with ripping off our manacles mid-conversation rather than just not having them on?
Yes, potentially. Then they'll be caught off guard if we do need to get out in a hurry. Look, if they start
Look
saying,
ar- look-
"All right,
look
you're
where we
sentenced to
are."
death,"
I have a better idea. Okay, so can I use my fuck, what are they called? Like heavy instruments, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I use that to detect if there are like metal keys in the room?
How incompetent do you think they are?
No.
I mean, pretty confident.
A lot.
Okay. You can use your instruments to try and detect that shit.
While you're playing with their instruments, I'm gonna ask you, Shadel. So, Shadel, can you like look through the walls and see if they're listening in on us?
Okay, yeah, I can do that too. I'm also using the lenses to see if I can't find it in like the desk or whatever, you know.
Sure. You can't find keys in here.
Isn't there a Stormcast like in this room or something?
No.
No, they
You're
left. They
alone.
left us behind.
Oh,
They just locked us in.
I'm joking. I'm back to joking with Bagoosh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm looking through the door. Is there anything I can see through like the wall, or is it just through the door?
You can see that there is through like the door you came in from. You could see like various Stormcasts going about whatever tasks they're doing. It seems like there's a guy that's on patrol. And you see people kind of like going in and out of some chamber rooms. None of them, except the one on patrol, are actually wearing their helmets. They all seem like they're kind of going about doing just kind of like doing various non-military work. Like it seems like they're doing like clerical stuff, like organization and just like administrative work. Like you see one carrying like a stack of papers and like rolled up parchment and stuff like that sort of thing.
guys, isn't there a real possibility we're all on the same side and we're innocent and they're gonna just ask us to do something?
That's what I've been trying to say the entire time.
I'm going to reply with, isn't there also a real possibility that their ranks have already been infiltrated by cultists?
Oh, that's true.
There's a cult.
I don't like this city.
I live here.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to swapping war stories with Bagoosh. This reminds me of that one time in X.
Well, you don't have to wait very long. Because Shadal, as you're looking around, you can see one of these Stormcasts going back and forth, carrying papers and such. You see them stop abruptly and kind of like bring themselves to attention. And then, with your hearing as good as it is, you can kind of hear like what almost sounds like claws on like almost like cat's claws on like hardwood or like a tile floor or something like that. Or not even cat's claws, because they can retract them. Unclipped dog nails on, like, a tile floor.
Okay. I tell everyone to put their manacles back on.
Mine are a lost cause. I'll look
well,
at
you
them.
just drape yours on your head or something, I don't know.
You just wear them across your shoulder, just like a towel.
Give them to Taewon.
No, I will not draw attention to Sewa.
And then as this sound, like these claws, get louder and louder, you hear at the door movement, and then you hear someone say, "Lord Veritant, the prisoners, the criminals are in this room.
Stop calling us.
As you requested."
Stop calling us criminals.
You hear the night.
That's not up for
the term is
You
suspect.
hear the night captain just slam his fist against the door, and he says, "That's not up for me to decide. That's up for the Lord Barrington to decide."
He hears all of us in unison saying it's not up for me to decide.
As this happens, the Lord Barrington looks at him and he says, "You're dismissed." Or he looks at me and says, "You're dismissed." You can hear like metal on metal as the guy gives a salute as his gauntlet just hits his helmet and he just marches off. Then you get kind of like a moment of silence as you can just hear what sounds like clinking. And Shadel, you can see this through the door. He's kind of like fumbling with a keychain, like a key ring. And he puts a key in and he unlocks the door, and you can all hear one lock come undone. And then you hear this like the clinging again, and you hear another lock and then he fumbles a bit for like another like 45 seconds, and then he manages to unlock the last one. And then the door kind of creaks open, and the first thing you see is this rather large Gryph-hound just kind of walk its way in, almost just like scouting a bit, and then it turns around, and then the Lord Veritant just strides in. His sword is sheathed, and he has his helmet on, but he is holding this staff, which almost looks as if it has like a lantern component to it. And he just stands in the doorway, looking at the five of you. And then he says, like, deep breath in, and he says, "Well, you could all sit down, or I can call in guards and we can have people stand in here with us."
I sit down.
Yeah, I sit down. As best as I can.
I cannot sit down.
He closes the door, and then he walks past all of you. He seems like he's almost like favoring the staff a bit. Like he's like leaning on it a bit. And he walks up to this like dais, this like desk that's in this room. Takes a couple steps up, sits down, and as if like on cue, when he sits down, this like beacon above you just lights up, and you can see that this entire room is just illuminated now. It's like kind of like one of those operating rooms, right, where you have people like observing.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a bunch of seats. They're all empty though. So like you see a bunch of seats like the rafters above you. No one's sitting in here. It's just the five of you and the Lord Veritant sitting at his desk at his dais, and at the door is his Gryph-hound. It's just sitting there, barring the way. Upon sitting down, he lets out like almost like an exasperated breath, as if like climbing the stairs was difficult for him.
Did he look injured when he was favoring the staff?
He did. From what you were looking at, it seemed like he was leaning on it, like he was favoring a leg. And he sits down and he removes his helmet, and you see that picture that I posted, the diamond picture with this man who's pale, his sunken face and like bags under his eyes, scars all across his head, and he just puts his helmet down on the desk, and he reaches down towards like the side of him that his sword is on, and he brings his arm up, and he has in his hand like a roll of parchment and what looks like a writing utensil, and he just puts it on the desk, and then he says, "Okay, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Why were you out of the city? How did you get into the city?"
Looks to Joe.
Start,
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, Shadel, you kick it off.
Okay,
As
I'm
councilwoman.
Shadel, representative of the Ether Chemist Guild. I'm here on investigation to try to find our missing shipment of defoliant, and was working for Councilwoman Kassan in that capacity as well. We went out of the harbor on the Blackfin, captained by Therial Cultus, and we rowed out to sea. We managed to find the shipwreck, and we had recovered the lost cargo, but when we came back up from our submerged state, the ship was nowhere to be found and the cargo was gone. So we hoofed it back through the jungle, and here we are.
I have a few details to add later if you need them, but those are the big pieces.
Oh, and we're innocent.
That's not for him to decide.
Do you say that's not for him to decide out loud?
No.
Okay.
I mutter it, I guess.
He chuckles when you say that's not for him to decide. It's actually only for me to decide. And he's writing things down. He points. He looks up, and then he points over at Joe, and then he says, "You're one of the urchin lasses that live down by the docks, yeah?"
Could say that.
Right. What got you tied up in all this?
Well, I originally was just trying to find a job. Specifically, I was hoping to get some information on the High Arbiter's death. Figured I could get a good payday if I could find out something there, and ended up running into these folk and was invited into the soul binding and joined.
I see. And you attest to everything that your Durden friend said.
I do. I have some interesting details about our journey through the jungle. If we have the time and you need it, but...
He holds up his hand. Not yet. Points over at you, Loris. And he says, He reaches down, pulls out rolled up parchment, he puts it down. He says, I have record here that you work in a hospice care in the city. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. And I will do a salute.
And tell me, were you getting paid for this, for assisting with this defoliant, or was this out of the kindness of your heart?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Points over at Bagoosh. And you're getting fed?
Not as much as I'd like.
I interject and say he's part of the contingent I brought from Shimon.
I will also wave.
He says, I'll get to you.
I don't like the way you're talking to my tree friend.
Do you say that aloud?
Yes.
He pulls out another rolled up piece of parchment. He puts it down. He says, Redleaf gives you a pass.
I'll sing a note in response.
All right. He struggles to stand up, and then he grabs his scepter, his staff, and he says, "Now comes the hard part." And he kind of like clinks it down, and the lantern starts to light a bit, and then this light gets brighter and brighter as it kind of starts to engulf the room. It gets to a point where it's almost like a blinding light if you're looking directly at it. And then just as quickly as it starts to illuminate, it starts to fade. And he sits down, and then he points at all of you, and he says, "Can you explain that, then?" As you all look down on yourselves, you're illuminated like a pale green. And he says, "I should have you killed for having any association of any kind with demons."
So I So I did tell you there are some key details to go over from the jungle.
And I hope they will prove your innocence.
Well, we fought a big demon tree in the jungle on the way here.
And some weird herald who had a
Scrivener?
two-mouth, yes, and wrote things. And in the tree we actually found some very depressing things. Do you mind if I pull them out of my bag?
You may present them.
Sure. So this one was on the outside of the bark, and I pull it out, show him the side that's just like the council symbol, and so this normally wouldn't be a big deal, but flip it over. This is what concerns me, and I'll put that down on the table. And more depressing was there were 2 of these helmets. I only managed to make it out of the jungle with 1, and I'll pull out the other helmet. I found this inside the tree as though it had eaten 2 stormcasts. There was also a dwarf that we met along the way who could attest to meeting us there. Bolnir Bollinson of the Slayer Lodge. He was hunting spiders, and he actually killed some demons on his way as well. Shit!
You hear him like grumble, like a low grumble, and he says, "I'll dispatch someone to the Slayer Lodge to look through their ledgers and see if that's true."
We still have this, or do we have the scale of the dragon still?
I have it, yeah. It's like on a necklace for me.
Also,
so you're like wearing it.
With all due respect, maybe
it's like covered, yeah.
Either now or when we're done here, Loris is kind of a medic if you want him to take a look at your leg.
I mean, I'm the medic.
What's wrong with this leg? Yeah, I'll take a look at his leg. I'll go walk up. What's wrong with this, sir?
I'll say Loris and Shadel then. Our medics.
He laughs. He's like, "That's not necessary."
Are you sure? Your leg looks really funky and weird, and like you have a limp.
That's part of the reforging process.
Okay,
Wait,
I'll back up.
I'm going to turn to Shade. So, Shadel, if we die, do we get reforged, or is that just a them thing?
No. No, thank God.
Upon hearing that, he lets out a very loud laugh. He's like, no. I mean, maybe.
Sorry, I'm still new to this.
He looks at it and says, maybe. He looks over at Sturdy Bark. Definitely not the tree. And then he looks over at Bagoosh and he says, probably not the ogre.
Single tier.
You wouldn't be... Looks at you, Joy, says, you could be reforged.
No, she couldn't.
I mean, a soul pact can be broken, but...
Wait, someone can break us out of this? That sounds terrifying.
I mean, you have to be willing.
Oh, good.
It's the big guy who can.
But then he gets back and says, it's part of the reforging process. When you die enough, you don't come back the same each time. That's why I'm in charge of the city, instead of being in charge of a battalion. He says, that's neither here nor there. He points at Sturdy Bark. He says, does your little friend want to lend any words to this as well?
Tewa?
Sturdy Bark, you feel like your leaves and like branches shaking a bit, almost as if like Sturdy Bark is like shaking, like he's like kind of shivering and he's scared.
Nope, he's good.
That's Tewa. We met him on our travels going south, and he helped us get here alive and well. But he lost a dear friend along the way, and so we took him in. His friend died fighting the demons.
Bring me the helmets and the badge, the brooch.
Of course, and I'll walk him over to the table.
He gets up and he meets you halfway, grabs them.
And again, sorry we couldn't get both helmets out.
And he walks back, and he kind of like doesn't acknowledge that comment, walks back up and sits and observes them. How did you say you got the defoliant again?
It was underwater, in a shipwreck. The barge, or rather, the cargo hold. Yeah, the cargo hold managed to hold, even though the ship was basically split in half. So, we put the cargo onto a float and floated it up to the ship.
And you were familiar with who you were working with, yes?
No. It was the first time we'd met them.
Yeah, Kassan said that they weren't the most trustworthy, but trustworthy enough. So we took it for her word, but I guess that was a mistake. Do you know if she's alright? We were actually trying to check on her when we got arrested. I'm worried.
The council is under my protection. Present.
That doesn't mean she's alive.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at him.
Oh, no, like, Alex and Joe both know that doesn't necessarily mean good. Joe is saying good, fake sigh of relief.
You were tasked with going out with those pirates then, by Councilwoman Kassan, yes?
Correct, and we had various payments lined
And
up.
what were the exact words that she used again? That they were not trustworthy?
Let me think back.
I think she said they weren't the most trustworthy, but we were dealing with corsairs. To be fair, that's pretty much a given.
I see. Well. You're in luck, then. He stands
no,
up.
custody.
What?
No.
Did you say no, we're in custody?
just keep going. No, keep going.
He says you're in luck then. Because conveniently, I would never trust a word any of you were saying. If you're covered in that stench.
A smelly smell that smells. Smelly.
But he points at Sturdy Bark and then raises his hand and points at your leaves. If you have one of them with you, then that means you're certainly not working with demons. Considering they're specifically made and designed to not interact with them and kill on sight, it would not make much sense for his lot to want to group up with you or travel with you if you carried any willing stench on you.
You think the Sylvaneth could work with the demons?
He looks at you, he says, you fought a tree, didn't you?
Two different things.
He looks at Sturdy Bark and says, pardon me for assuming otherwise.
Just gonna look at him.
My job is to make sure that this city does not fall to the likes of, well, anything. Be it pirate, be it jungle, giant, dragon, demon.
Giant dragon demon?
A giant, a dragon, or a demon. It doesn't matter what it is.
Giant back.
I was about to say, are you saying there's a giant dragon demon here?
Frank, quick.
Certainly hope not.
Quick out of character question. So when you said they're built to fight demons, and was that referring to Tewa?
Yep.
Got it. Thanks.
That's a Seraphim thing.
They're not real.
They can't really be corrupted, right?
Yeah, they are uncorruptible.
Okay, the Seraphim are basically the order version of demons.
And actually, if I was corrupted, wouldn't I just die in short order?
You would eventually turn into rock.
That's a log eventually.
Is it a long eventually? I thought it was
It
fast.
is. It is a long eventually.
It's a short one if you're a sorcerer, but that's not something you can easily do.
Well,
Yeah.
that's true.
All right, sir. What do we have to tell you to get out of here?
You don't
What
have
a
to tell me
very-
anything. I have to tell you things because you're now under my employ.
Okay, so what do you have to tell us before we can get out of here?
He holds up the brooch and he just kind of like waves it in the air. This here, this here says that I can't trust anyone in this city. And he just kind of like slams it down on the table. It says here that someone on the council is attempting to undermine the well-being of this city, undermine the well-being of its citizens, and undermine the work that I put in here, that good citizens put in here, that my men and women put in here. I lost 4 good souls at the docks today, and he holds up his hand. Granted, they'll be back in short order. I, for one, know what it's like when you get reforged one too many a time. So even if they technically are expendable, I hold every life in my charge in high regard. I wouldn't throw them away to come back like this. I'm being undermined at every turn here, ever since I came in here. So I was reassigned to this damn city. I've been undermined. There's the
Why
pirates.
are people trying to undermine you? What? Why would someone try to undermine you?
It's not me,
Around the
it's the
city.
city. I'm the city. My presence here denotes that I'm supposed to protect it, and they're abusing the city. We sit on trade routes. We ship throughout all of Akshi. We have a huge hub of commerce and in this barren wastes around us. This is a wildly important city. And people are trying to abuse it. Surely, points at Joe, you know of the Black Scale Coil, and you've heard of various other gangs throughout the city that run rampant, and I'm not allowed to put them down. Because the council tells me that they have it under control, and my job isn't to instill martial law, it's to uphold the council's law. But now the council has gotten in the way. And he holds up the brooch again, and this proves that they're getting in the way. I wouldn't be surprised if your councilwoman Kassan hired you to go out, get this defoliant, and then planned with those Corsairs to resell it. Everyone's out for their own pockets in this city. They're not out for the betterment of it, that's for sure. So here's what I need from the 5, 6 of you. I need you to figure out which one of those counselors is propping up the Black Scale Coil. Let's tackle that first. How about that?
Do you know if it's one of them? Can it be all of them? And can it be none of them?
He looks at you and he says, it could be all of the above, for all I know.
Okay.
Wasn't the sigil... Wasn't there a notification, or something that indicated it had something to do with Nurgle?
You say that aloud?
I'm asking you. I'm trying to remember the details of the sigil.
I showed him the back of it too.
Like, was it referencing the coil or Nurgle? I thought it was.
It was referencing Nurgle.
Okay.
You have to let him finish.
Okay.
I need you to figure out which one of those counselors is propping up the coil. While you're doing that, if you could find out if any of them have any occult leanings, like this would suggest one of them does, then I would highly suggest you not take any of that matter into your own hands, and you ring us up. I have them quarantined to their council chambers, so it shouldn't be terribly difficult to figure it out. But I can't just go in there and cut heads. It's not.
I'm glad to hear that. Hey.
At least not yet.
So you're saying we have some time.
Speaking of cutting heads, do you know what happened to the Blackfin? That wasn't the ship that exploded, was it?
He chuckled. Yeah. I wish. No, the Blackfin, actually, we would like to apprehend ourselves at this point, because they are also prime suspects.
Wait, when we were walking into town, we saw them at the docks. Are you saying they're not at the docks anymore?
No, that ship flew off.
God damn it! Fuck.
Fucking knew it.
He looked at you like, did you not fly on it when you flew out there? Or when you went out there?
Oh no, they sailed.
But you literally meant fly. Not like...
He says, I was unaware that ship was even able to sail on water.
Explains why they were so lousy at it.
That ship has been enchanted using, I don't know, some type of dark elven magic or something. I'm not sure. The captain's well known in the various corsair circles around here as having killed dragons and such, and enchanted the vessel to soar like one. I'm not exactly sure the details, but point is that ship is more of an airship than a sea vessel.
Why the fuck didn't we fly away when the fucking vampires came?
Because he was clearly not working in our interest.
Right.
Point is, there was a skirmish down by the docks. Some various unsavory types were getting in some type of brawl of sorts. At least from my reports, anyway. They were dealing with some type of dispute about some trade goods or something. We dispatched a couple squires and a knight captain down there, and they shot back up to Azir soon as what was described anyway from someone by the docks as being when some crates exploded. I have reason to believe that it was the captain of that very vessel who, I guess, was trying to get away with underpaying or stealing or interrupting this meeting, all that. Which doesn't particularly bode well for the councilwoman who hired you if she vouched for some modicum of their trustworthiness anyway.
To be fair, she did seem sort of at her wit's end, as though she had tried every and all resource to get back to Defoliant and no one was helping her. Do you think that's accurate? Were your forces asked to help and too busy, or was she just sort of leading us on?
My forces are members of the Stormkeep, which fun fact about our order, we are not allowed to take missions outside of the city walls. We are essentially, as you are bound to each other, we are essentially bound to the city.
So it's possible that she was actually out of options.
I mean, it sounds like there's no one that could have taken us out of the city. Yeah.
It's not like it's easy to get a hold of any battalion of us anyway. We're all the battalions are basically tied up. So we do our best here at this Storm Keep in order to keep everything in line, but anything outside the city walls is outside of our general jurisdiction. Unless it's within a couple miles anyway, the walls.
Do you have a hunch on who your chief suspect is for a council member? With the working with the black coil, black scale. Was it dark coil?
Yeah, I do have a list of individuals who I would believe to be less than savory. I would say I will compile this list for you. I will compile this list for you. I will give you any information you might need pertaining to this, or that I at least feel would be of any assistance to you here. And I will get you individuals over to the council chambers. This is in order for this to work out in such a way. I need them to come out of hiding. I need them to be willing to talk. So, as some of you are probably assuming here, none of you were here. Correct?
When?
None of you were here talking to me, correct?
I don't even know where I am.
Oh, right.
Roger.
Oh, this is one of those. Okay.
We came into the city and we avoided your guard because we're good at what we do, and we went straight to the council.
Hold on. You're not that good at what you do. Let's not.
So what do? We were arrested, we were questioned, and we were sent on our way?
How about this? You got arrested and you broke away.
Only if you give us the name of that captain and we're able to tell everyone that we escaped him. He and I are friends now.
The Knight Captain?
Yes.
Martinez.
What's it is? Okay.
Martini.
Was it Artenis or Martinus?
Martinez.
Martinez gave a valiant effort, but he could not keep up with the ogre, the tree, and the dwarf.
I am the fast.
That way, at the very least, you'll be able to come off as against myself anyway. You'll be aligned against me.
Then shouldn't we stage, I don't know, breaking through the doors instead of just walking in?
Oh, I love this part. And I'll rear back my foot to kick the
Wait,
wall.
not yet. Stay back. Hold on.
He says that won't be necessary, actually. For the sake of this, he holds up another roll of paper and he says, kind of like dabs to a section on it. I'm technically only allowed to hold martial law in the city for a day's time before I have to relinquish it all back to the council. Something to do with the various regulations that they put into place that I am bound to follow. So I can only hold martial law for a day unless there is actually a perceived threat upon the city walls, which there currently is not, and if any of these council members know what's good for them, they will likely not let there be any threat towards the city while I have martial law enacted. So, I cannot keep my guards or the councilmen or the councilors bound or at the gates of the council chambers for much longer anyway. So what's going to happen is I'm going to let you all go. I'm going to give you the information that I think you should have about any of these councilors that I deem, unsavory. Not so much unsavory, but that I deem suspect. They're all unsavory, if you ask me.
Here.
Any of them that are suspect, I will brief you on, or I will have... I'll have Martinez brief you on them. I think that
Shouldn't
would be a
Bagoosh
good
be
idea.
really disappointed when he calls people unsavory?
I don't know if Bagoosh cares.
I have a good grasp of diction, actually.
I'll have Martinez brief you on it. That way you can really get the character together on how you escaped him. How about that?
And if we need to contact you for some reason, is there a password or something, or we just kind of what's the deal with that? Or we're just ceasing contact until we're done.
Oh, I won't see you again for a while. Let's put it like this. As you've clearly seen and as you clearly know, there's multiple different groups of us. There's those in my order who are the Heldenhammer, and there's those who are the Hammers of Sigmar and the like. If you approach any Heldenhammer member of my order, and say that you have information for the Lord Veritant, they are instructed to bring any information to myself. If you approach any of them and you let them know that you need to speak with me, or you have a message to convey to me, they will make sure it finds its way back to me.
Got it. So find any of your troops, and we'll tell them we have information for you. Got it.
In the meantime, I'm going to take these helmets, or this helmet. I'm going to take... Actually, he hands you the brooch again, Joe, and he says, "You can hold on to that."
As Joe goes to grab the brooch, she grabs it and then sort of like wipes a tear from her face and sort of sniffles and says, like, quietly, all right.
Chin up. You have work to do. I will confer with Azir and find out he taps the helmet, where our missing Stormcast are, and who was guarding, or who was on patrol outside of the city. Couldn't have been any of my Stormkeep guards, that's for sure, so I'm curious as to how any individual on this council could have gotten their hands on any patrolman. That being said, I'll find out if they're at the Forge of Apotheosis, and we can figure out if they have any information. Sigmar hoping that they can remember anything, that is. Right. You can see yourselves out, and I'm sure, as far as I'm concerned, everything's in order here. I'll instruct Martinez to meet you out front and provide you with all the necessary information that you might need, reports and such on these various council members. Again, he stands up and he starts walking down the steps.
Wait, just one quick thing. Not a rush, but at some point, could you tell me if your records have anything on Jace Lanarin or Cal Lanarin? They were town guardsmen who got caught up in something years ago, but I've never been able to access any records, and maybe your organization has something on them? I know it's not pressing to the matter at hand right now, but it would mean a lot.
I'll instruct someone to look through the archives and reports. If you get this job done,
Thank
consider that your payment.
Fair enough.
He starts to hobble down the stairs and walks past you all towards the door, and he says, "Right. Well, you all saw the way, and you can see yourselves out." I'm sure there won't be any. There won't be any issue.
Sir, you
finding
keep
your way out.
coughing. Why do you keep coughing?
He looks at you like, I said it's the. How many times did you think I've died?
0?
Oh my god.
A good guess.
He looks around. Wrong. Next.
What do you taste like?
Not exactly answering the question I posed.
He's kind of metal.
Next.
I'll guess 12.
Do his circuits clean? Is he
I am
perpetual? Does he
perpetual, I
keep the
keep
country
it
clean?
12 is a good guess. That's it, actually. I have been struck down 12 times.
Who got the good guess?
Joe.
I was gonna guess like 40 because your leg is messed up.
You need to train more, mate.
I've been struck down 12 times.
But you got
Oh,
back up the 13th time.
Exactly. When
Although, I wouldn't test it the 13th time.
when you get reforged,
When
you
you walk
lose
away.
a bit of yourself each time. It's grueling to some extent. But like I said, I'm not fit for the battlefield anymore, so I'm basically always going to be, well, a pencil pusher from this point on.
Might I ask how old you are?
You stop counting after a while.
Well, how old was the... I guess, how long have you been in the city, maybe? Is
He
a more fair
probably.
question.
Oh.
Hundreds of years? Decades?
This is a relatively new post for me.
I see.
This is about a 10-year post for me. I've served at Hammerfell for majority of my time. But it might betray your opinion on me here. I'm held in quite the high regard over at Hammerfell by the Lord Arcanum. I was explicitly reassigned here to fix the city. As you would appear, many in Hammerfell anyway, and the various council members out there believe that this city is, well, going to be the undoing of Akshi at large anyway. One weak link in the chain just causes it all to collapse, so we're sent out here to fix it. And
Well, we'll get to work on rooting out these corrupt council members, okay?
yes, that sounds very good. Again, Martinez will provide you with the necessary information. I have other interrogations to go deal with.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope they go as well as this one did.
I was told I wouldn't need my branding irons for this one, so next, I think I might need them for the next room, though.
I'll turn to Bagoosh. Was that the sizzling?
Yep.
I think I heard him get up.
That's fine. That's fine. He would have been like, yeah.
Speaking of sizzling, do you have any food for us? We haven't eaten in quite
I
a while.
think we could find food outside.
Everything's locked down. Normally I'd go get some bread, but...
He looks at you and he's like, you can treat yourself to whatever's being served in the mess hall.
I'll start patting Bagoosh on the leg, just like, get hype. We going.
He's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ollie's not here, but Bagoosh is.
That's what I mean. Yeah, sorry. That was-
As he's walking away, he says, "Oh, and one last thing. When you're in the council chambers, just know that you're more than likely always going to be watched. They have the various guards and such are no doubtedly on payroll to various counselors, so I would be very careful with how you conduct yourself. Let's put it this way, even when I'm walking through the council chambers, I never feel as if I'm that safe, or even in anyone's good care. Just be wary.
Noted.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Okay.
And he kind of like grumbles and walks out.
Take care of that leg.
And then his Griffhound follows suit.
Forgot to ask the name of the dog.
Minus 10 XP.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get some food and
300 psychic damage.
get out of here.
Frank, would you consider figuring out which counselor is propping up the coil a short-term goal or a long-term goal?
I would consider this to be a long-term goal.
Also, we had like a split long-term goal. Find out what happened to Blackfin / get revenge on the Blackfin.
Yeah, you found out what happened to it.
So did we get any hex P for that?
What'd you say? This was a long-term goal, you said?
I had it written. This was the exact wording I had was this. So I don't know if this is supposed to be 2 goals. I think it was 2 goals, but I don't know if one would be short and one's long, or how you want to rule that.
Let's say the first one's the short, and the long-term would be, or the other one would be the long-term.
Okay, so we all get
Yeah.
1
You'd
XP?
get 1. Yep.
Sounds good.
So all of you would get 1 XP from that. Finding out... So your next long-term goals, let's put it like this. Your next long-term goals would be finding out which counselor is...
This is what I have.
I know who owned the metal sigil of...
He's talking about party goals, Alex.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, these are
This is-
the party goals. Get revenge of the Blackfin, figure out which counselor is propping up the coil, figure out who owned the metal sigil of the Council Vanguard and the Stormguard helmets. But I guess the Stormguard helmets
Which would be basically find out if any council member is a cultist and find out which council members are propping up the coil. Yep. So yeah, your 3 long-term goals are get revenge on the Blackfin, find out who's propping up the coil, and then find out who, if anyone, is a cultist.
Yep.
And that would be it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so this would be a good time to break, and then next time I will provide you all with the dossiers on individuals. I might put those in... Actually, I probably can put those just in the Discord chat if you want to like look over them and come up with like how you want to tackle the how you like want to tackle it.
We can do it in character. We don't have to do it like we can like hold. You know what I mean? Like we can hold that for character. Like we get it.
Yeah.
Like talk about it.
It's just like a thing where I can put it in chat ahead of time. That way, like you could think about how you want to like do it.
Gotcha.
And then you can do it in character next time we meet. But this would be a good time to break, considering how I only have one of the dossiers done.
Yeah,
sounds good to me. Yeah.
10 o'clock. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Alright.
Bye,
So we're
Twitch.
good.